Welcome to A Seat at the Table. My name is Zanele Khumalo and I'm the editor of W24. Today we're going to be talking about hair. We've got Taryn Gill, and then Deborah Darling, and then Ranzu Magamu. Cheers to great hair.
To great hair.
Yeah.
To confidence.
Yes.
And self-love.
And silvers have more fun.
Love it.
I like that.
I mean, we've had some recent conversations about hair and also about the time and money that we spend on our hair as women. Does anyone have any recent or childhood experiences that they would like to share on?
For me personally, I grew up relaxing my hair. I don't remember my hair natural. I can see it in pictures. And I think it was purely because, if I'm really honest, my mom had pressure to keep my hair a certain way, to have it straight. Otherwise, it was not kept. And then about 3 years ago, my hair wasn't growing, it was breaking. I would go to the salon and cry because it was burning my scalp. And only then did I realize the power and the position that I put myself in socially and politically with people around me. My mom went natural when I went natural. My best friend went natural when I went natural. So I see a lot of confidence that comes from being natural. But I think if you're really looking for being the best you that you can be, I think people should really look into being natural and growing their natural hair and loving their natural hair, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yes.
I think the business of hair is a beast in itself entirely. So for me, going into it was, I always say to people, it felt like I was going home. I'd spent so long in media and stumbled across a natural hair salon that was opening up, quite frankly, right here in the city. And they said to me, well, look, would your consultancy help us launch this business? And off I went and we did it. And they exposed me to a whole lot of American products. And that's when I kind of discovered the business of African hair. And it took me a good 2 years to research it, really get my teeth into it, start product developing. It's only then when you realize just how intrinsic the business is to the psychographic of the consumer.
Yes.
They are completely interrelated. There's wonderful ways that you can think that the consumer starts to feed in and really guide you in terms of where your business goes. Well, at least that's what I find.
So my mum had grey hair, always, but coloured it religiously every couple of weeks, dark brown. Couldn't bear the silver at all. So I coloured mine too, because I think society sort of dictated that you can't be grey because that means that you're old, which is a terrible thing.
Ageism in full force.
To be old. So when I was around about 50, I stopped highlighting my hair and let it be grey.
And did you find lots of kind of icons or role models that kind of supported you, who kind of made it maybe easier for you to make that?
There is a movement. There is a big movement to silver hair internationally. I think it's coming here now. It's a little bit slower to get off the ground, but definitely in Australia and the States, I think there's a lot of openly grey.
Openly grey.
Don't you find that we always tend to be following what's happening in the States in terms of hair? We have such a beautiful African identity around our hair. Feeds into the States pop culture, feeds back to us, and then we start to emulate the US trends.
Do we spend a lot of money on our hair?
Oh.
Confessions? Confessions,
I study this for a living, and what you'll see in most of the research is your African consumer with textured hair spending almost 4.5 times that of her Caucasian counterpart, just because the psychographic so much more dense and complicated. The cultural attaches, as I call them, it's like a psychological, social, economic beast that's operating in her. It's so layered. It's a whole onion.
I save a lot of money.
That's great.
I don't colour it all, so
and it's healthier. It's healthier for your hair as well. And then if we talk about that kind of going towards natural, I mean, a large part of it is also because we're exposed to more weaves and wigs and lots of other options. Or do you find that your friends are going that route, your peers?
Yeah, a lot of them, especially in the beginning stages of becoming natural, a lot don't wear their hair. I cut my hair and I wore it like that. It was definitely a shock because you're used to yourself a specific way and now you're bald and everybody's watching you. everybody can see your head, and it's a bit of a shock.
You're exposed.
And
yeah, I understand.
For me personally, that just taught me about like I'm more than just my hair. Do you know what I mean? Even though it's gonna make a big statement, but I need to look deeper into myself.
And how would you support someone who perhaps has a parent that says, no, like your hair is unacceptable that way, or they're going into the workplace where their future employer goes, that's also totally unacceptable. What kind of words of advice would you offer them?
You know, maybe it's not the kind of place that you want to be working at.
Yeah, there's a lot of support. I think if you just look at the way us as South Africans are operating in very formalized, corporatized jobs, the different sectors like education and government, there's a lot of support for you if you feel that your personal rights are being infringed on. There is support for you to stand up and say, actually, you're not within your legal bounds to make this kind of declaration. You know, they always say at the end of this hair journey, it's self-love, and it's just about being brave enough to actually just speak out.
So confidence and self-love. I think that's a very great point to end off with. Yeah, lovely and positive. Thank you so much for your beautiful insights, and thank you for sharing this space with us today.
Always.
Thank you.